So let me get to the last part. And again, I will share all the slides with you on the chat, so that if there's previous things you want to go through, you can look at it. Okay, so tonight, basically rounding off, and we'll look at we look at some other work as well, so that you just get nearly cover a lot of the things that we need to do. So these two questions is basically looking at increases. So if you basically can look at it at two ways. So if you have something that you buy, you need add value, add a tax to it. They give you the end number, and you need to work out what that value added tax was. So let's look at this first one and see what we needed to do. So Dudu is buying a new dress that cost 1,525 excluding that, and 1,753.75 including that. Okay, so if we want to know what that value is, it is 1,753.75 minus 1,525. So if I wanted us to work out what the VAT amount is, that will be what we need to solve. We need to solve the percentage, but let's first work out what that amount is. Okay, so that is 228 Rand and 75 cents. Okay, so how we work it out is the end value minus the beginning value divided by the beginning value. Okay, so that is basically the same how we would have worked out if we have to work out what inflation is or any such a number from beginning to end. So this is also nearly, if you look back at, or when we get to that revision in a few slides, when we look at a type of future value, beginning value, the same principle applies. So 1,753.75 minus 1,525, which is 228.75, and that divided by 1,425. So if we say that, so 228.75 divided by 1,525, we will get 15%, which is option 1. So another one that we will do just below. So we've got the value, including that, it now is 4,100. So to work out what the percentage is of that, you've got the end value minus the beginning value divided by the beginning value. So that should give you the increase due to that. So 4100 minus 3590.99 is 509 Rand and 1 cent. And if we divide that by 3590.99, 90.99. We get 14.17%. We don't have it rounded off to 2, so we've got it rounded off to 1 decimal. So 14.17 is 14.2%, which is option 3. Okay, so both of them basically what we need to do is we look at the end value, subtract the beginning value, and then that we will divide by the beginning value. So very similar to something that we would have said that if you have bought peanut butter 3 years ago at 65 Rand, it now costs 80 Rand. What has the increase been? So again, it would just be the end value minus the beginning value divided by the beginning value. Okay, so that is just what we're doing in this case as well. Okay, so that is 2 questions with nearly looking at increase of values. Then we go into a few measurement questions. So the first one here is nearly a measurement question combined with a ratio question. So here they tell us, refer to the sketch. The area of a right triangle is 54 centimeters. Okay, so it's something different we need to work out. If its height is 12 centimeters long, what is its perimeter? Okay, so what is its perimeter? Okay, so this is quite not the easy one. So perimeter is all the 3 sides together. So this is actually quite a lot of work. So first we're going to work out what is the base. Okay, so we know with area, the area formula is of base times height. We know that they tell us the area of a right triangle is 54. So that is 54, needs to be times a half. Base we don't know, we're going to work that out, but at least we know the height. So 54 is equal to 6b, because a half times 12 is 6. So if we then divide 54 by 6, we get that. Let's just quickly see. I wanted to say 8 first, but I think it's 9. Yeah. So B is equal to 9. Okay, so by giving us, so it's not ratios at all, by giving us the area, we can work out with the area function what this base is going to be, and that is 9 centimeters. And then I think in one of your assignments, you guys would have had a question like that, where now suddenly you needed to work out what that length is, and that we can do with Pythagoras. So to work out that length, and let's say it's c square is equal to 12 square plus 9 square. So this is Pythagoras, the rule of Pythagoras. So let's quickly, 12 times 12 is 144. Plus 81. 225. So to get C, we need to get the square root of 225. Which is equal to 15. So the length of C is 15. So the perimeter of a triangle is basically A plus B plus C. So that is 12 plus 9 plus 15. 12 plus 9 is 21, plus 15 is 36, and that will give us option 3. Okay, so first we needed to work with the area that they give us, work out the base, and then with that base, we will basically so you've got the base, then we get with it how to work out the opposite side by Pythagoras. Okay, so first area, then Pythagoras to work out the perimeter. Okay, so let's see if there's another one nearly like this. Okay, so let's break this up in two so that we can do both. So we will do another one just like that, I think. Yeah, a similar one, just a different area. So we will go through exactly the same process. And then afterwards, we'll look at some shaded areas that we need to work out. Okay, so again, they give us the area is 48. So the area of a triangle, again, is a half times base times height. We know the area is 48, equal to a half times base times height is 12. So 48 is equal to 6 times b. In this instance, 48 divided by 6 will give us b of 8. So we know that this basis is 8. So to work out that side, so we say that is c squared is 12 squared plus 8 square, 144 plus 64, which is, looks like 208. So C is the square root of 208, which gives us 14.4. So to get to the perimeter of those three, we will add the 12 plus the 8 plus the 14.4. So 12 plus 8 is 20, plus 14.4 gives us 34.4, which is option 4 this time. Okay, so first you need to work out what is the base by getting the 48. So how we got the base, we know that the area is 48, and the formula is 48 times base times 12, because 12 is the height. So a half times 12 give us 6, and 48 divided by 6 will give you the 8. So B is equal to 48 divided by 6, which gives you 8. So the 6 we got from a half times 12. And so that is how we got the 6, by saying a half times 12. Okay. So please, again, afterwards, go through this again. I think this is quite important, that they might give more of these kind of questions where they might give you some information and you need to work it a bit backwards as well. So the same will happen nearly when we look at some of these cases where we are getting areas that are shaded. Okay, so some of these information, sometimes we need to work out maybe two things, need to subtract. It might be that we only need to work out a few simple things, but let's look at the first thing here. So they tell us that find the perimeter of a dark shaded region in the figure below. Okay, so dark shaded is all of these areas that is highlighted by red. Okay, so that we already know is 6.5. This we already know. Let's quickly check if I can. Okay, so this area we know is 6.5. That area we know is 5. We need to work out what is this length, and we will need to work out what is that length. Okay. But they give us the total length of 19, and they give us that length is 6, and that length is 6. So we basically know this part is 12, because 6 plus 6 is 12. So if this part is 12, this area is 7, because 7 plus 12 will give us the 19. So again, if this is 7, same for the above, 7. So now we have that the perimeter of a gray shaded area, 7 and 7, plus the 5, plus the 6.5, which is that one, plus the 6.5. Okay, so they don't always need to tell you what some of these areas are. They give enough information for you to work it out. So then it is 14 plus 5 is 19. 6.5 plus 6.5 is 13. 19 plus 13 is 52. Okay, let's quickly just check. That is 19, 19, 58. Okay, so there wasn't an answer for that. Anything else? No. Okay, so just make sure in this one again and that is sometimes again the pity that you guys are not getting something on paper in front of you that you can. But even if you guys draw it and then work it out, because you must just be able to see nearly in this bottom part all the overlaps of all the information that they give you. Okay, so that you can see the whole length that they give you is 19. Then 2 pieces of that 19 is 6 and 6. So the piece that is left is 7. And because it is the same length, it will be the 7 at the bottom for that length will be the same that is at the top as well. Okay, so just make very sure when you get this, and that's why sometimes it's more difficult to see some of these things on your cell phone as well, because things like this might again be easier to see on a bigger screen. Okay, so let's go into more of these, and let's just quickly duplicate so that we can make it bigger. Okay, so again, find the perimeter of a shaded region. Okay, so everything here is part of a perimeter. So what is that length of the question mark? So if this whole length is 25, that length is 19, that area of that length is 6 centimeter. Okay, so now with a perimeter, all you need to do is to say, well, 6 plus 13 is 19, plus 19 is 58, plus, so we're just going to say every time plus. So 58 times plus 5 is, what is it, 43, plus 25, 43, 48, 68, 68, 76, 76, 86. Okay, so 86. So we will just say 6 plus 13 plus 19 plus 5 plus 25 plus 18. Okay, so perimeter, we need to add all of the areas. Again, just quickly how we got that 6. So if I draw those nearly these 2 lines, that length also must be like the one at the bottom, 25. I already know that this part is 19 because they've given it to me. So 25 minus 19 will give me that 6. So 25 minus 19 will give me that 6 that I need to work with. Okay, so that is how we would have gotten the 6 by saying, okay, 25 is that whole length. That part is 19. So 25 minus the 19 will give me the 6. The same if they didn't give us, say, one of these lengths. That whole length is 18. If I told us this one is 13 but didn't give us that, we could have said 18 minus 13 gives us the 5. Okay, so also if they did not add something like that, or again, they could have left the 18 out, but then we would have known also 13 plus 5 will give us the 18. Okay, so just be, in this sense, careful when you work with it, that it is the perimeter that you're working with, so you just need to add all the sides. It's very interesting, this one. So if you look at this perimeter, it's 86. If you look at the perimeter 25, 25, 18, and 18, you will also get 86. Okay, so all that happened here is they cut that off, they moved this line in, so that line was moved in. So it's the same line, so perimeter stays exactly the same, and they moved that line down. So that's why perimeter, even if it's this one or the bigger one, the perimeter is exactly the same. Okay, so all that they did is moved that they can move out, that they can move up, and you have your whole square or rectangle again. So just in a sense, also be aware of that. So the only thing that for the perimeter, they moved it in, so the perimeter will stay exactly the same. If it is this, or if it is this, the perimeter is exactly the same for both of them. Okay, so that might also be something that they give you in a question, is nearly to say, is there a difference in the two perimeters? There's definitely a difference in the area, because in this one, that will be a full area, where this, you actually don't have that area. So the area will definitely be different, but for a perimeter, exactly the same. Okay, so let's nearly similar now is that we do another one. So let's just quickly look at this one. Very similar. Again, perimeter. So that perimeter we have is 10. That one we have as 6. So what is that portion? 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. And now we look at the top. If that is 15, that is 4. This part is 15 minus 4. So 15 minus 4 will be 11. 10 minus 6 will be 4. So now perimeter, add all the sides again. So it's 10 plus 15 plus 4 plus 6 sorry, I missed that 4. It's 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 11. So 10 plus 15 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 11. So if we have all of that, 25, 29, 33, 59, 50. And so if we add all of that together, we will get 50, which is option 3. Okay, so once again, perimeter, remember perimeter, always add all the sides that is required, that is part of the shaded area. Okay, so let's go into, now we're going into areas. So let's just again duplicate that. We can just make it a bit bigger again. Okay, so in here now they ask, find the area of a shaded region in the figure. Okay, so we need this yellowish kind of figure. So we can get, how to get to that area is we say, okay, we've got the whole rectangle. We're not going to work out that piece and that yellow piece. We're going to say we're going to take that whole rectangle and we're going to subtract the triangle part in there. Okay, so rectangle side times side is, let's say, length times breadth. So that's for the rectangle, and the triangle is a half base times height. So length times breadth is 8 times 5. Eight times 5 is 40. And let's see what we have for the triangle. A half. Know what the basis is. It's 4. And we know what the height is. The height is exactly the same as the 5. So a half times 4 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. So 40 minus 10 is 50. So The yellow area is 30, the white area is 10. And so that yellow area is 50, the white area is 10, the whole rectangle is 40. Okay, so that is nearly how one works out that colored in. There's no quick formula to be able to say that plus that gives us the answer. We need to nearly say take the full area minus that triangle and get to the piece that is what we're looking for. Okay, we'll go through more. So again, let's look at this one as well. So again, they ask us find the area of a shaded part in the following. Okay, so let's look at, so we can do this one in two ways. We can take that whole area, work it out, and we can say subtract this white, or we can say, well, let's work out that because I know that length is 8. I know that height is 2. So this area will be 2 times 8, which is 16. But I also need to work out this triangle. Again, triangle is half base, which is 2, times height, which is also 2. So a half times 2 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So that yellow part is 2 inches square. So the total then is 18 inches square, which is option 3. Okay, so you could have done it the other way around to say, okay, what's that total square? So the total square would have been, what is that? 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. And then if we subtract that area, it will be the same as this one. So 20 minus 2. So basically subtract that piece. Sorry, let's take that out. So we subtract this, which is also 2, we get 18, which is exactly the same. So again, you can work out which way is easiest for you. For me, it was take this yellow or whatever, yellow, orange, and take this area as well and add the 2, which would have given me the 18. Okay, so again, just when you guys in the exam get this, also just be very, very careful and be very clear what areas of it you need to work out, what you need to put together. Okay, let's again duplicate the slide. There is some perimeters, or sorry, not perimeters, semicircles coming in. So we will cover a few of them as well. Okay, so let's look what they ask us in this one. So consider the diagram below with measurements indicated on it. The rectangle of diagonal 5 centimeter fit perfectly into the circle. Okay, so calculate the area of the shaded. Okay, so we now need to get to the gray area. So to get to the gray area, basically working out the circle minus this rectangle. And so that is basically what we will need to work out. So the full circle will give us all of that area. Then if we subtract this white area, we get what is left. Okay, so area of circle is pi radius square. And then we are going to subtract what is the rectangle, which is 3 times 4. So we're going to subtract length times breadth. So let's pi is on your calculators 3,14. Okay, let's look at what R is. So they say the rectangle of diagonal, so that fits into it. So that is your in the middle of your circle, your diameter. So a half of 5 for your radius is 2.5. So 2.5 plus 2.5 will give me the 5, which is that length. So they give me the perimeter, the diameter is 5, so I know that the radius is 2.5. Okay, so we've got the radius as 2.5. And now it's 3 times 4 for the length and the breadth. Okay, so that is going to be minus 12. Let's just work out what is that circle. So it is pi, which is, wait, let's start with a 2.5. My calculator can't do it the other way around. So 2.5 times 2.5 is equal to 6.25 times pi. It's equal to 19.64. So 19.64 minus 12 is equal to 7.64, which is close enough to the 7.63. I rounded it off, so if you look at it, it is 19.635. So I rounded it off. So that is where just that one difference come in. But basically, full circle, pi radius square, subtract the rectangle so that we get the full circle is 19.635. The rectangle is 12. So the final answer is option 2. And they will also not give you the option that is 7.64 and one that is 7.63. They will make sure that it's only one of the two. They will not give you both, so that you now need to work out or guess between those two. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So that is Just want to quickly now crop this again. So now we're going to have a semicircle. So let's see what they ask. Find the area of a shaded. Okay, this is interesting. So the shaded. So let's just break it up. So that is a semicircle. So semicircle is pi radius square to a power of 2 divided by 2. So circle is pi radius power of 2. If we want to get half of it, pi radius to the power of 2 divided by 2, which will give us the semicircle. Here we've got a rectangle. So just look at that component, rectangle. So it's 14 times 20. So we know that this is 20 because that is 20. 20 millimeters. So if this whole thing is 52, this component is 12. So on this side, we've got the triangle, which is a half base, which is 12 times height, which is 14. Okay, so let's just go through that again. So we basically have in here three areas that we're going to cover. We've got this top one, that is the semicircle. We've got here the piece that is a rectangle, and here we've got the piece that is a triangle. Semicircle, pi radius to the power of 2 divided by 2. This one, so let's quickly write what it is. Pi times radius. Radius again, half of the diameter. So half of 20 is 10. 10 times to the power of 2. Okay, so that is what we work with the semicircle. What we have in the rectangle is I need to get this area, or that length, but if the top length is 20, this must also be 20 because the sides are the same. So I've got here 14 times 20. So if I know that is 20, this piece here is 32 minus 20, which is 12. And this height is the same as what's that side, which is the 14. Okay, so the semicircle is pi times 10 times 10 divided by 2 is, and I'm going to round it off, 157. The 14 times 20 is 280. And a half times 12 times 14 is 84. So if I say 157 plus 84 plus 280, my final answer is 521. which is option 4. Okay, so this one is a lot of work because you needed to basically work out 3 areas and then add all the areas to get to your final answer. So again, if you think about it, and I don't know if I think all of your question is the same markings, but it might be different. So, but a lot of work in this one, as you can see. Okay, so you needed to, for this one, actually needed to know all those formulas, how to get to it, and then needed to know that you need to add all of them together to get to your final answer. Okay, so let's look at, now we probably will go into volume. So let's duplicate again, but let's just do 2 of them. So let's do this one. Oh, and I think this one was the one that has a mistake on it. So I think if you look at, that's why let's do question 21C. So, okay, so, and maybe hopefully that also doesn't have a mistake on it. Okay, so let's just look at this. So a cylindrical steel pipe is 21 centimeter long. So think about it as nearly, and that's why the answers, none of these answers are right. So it's shorter than a ruler, 21 centimeters long, with a radius of 0.4 centimeters. So it basically looks like a pencil nearly. Its hollow part is radius, so you can look at it, that is the cylinder, and then there's a hollow part in the middle. Okay, so that's basically what, let's quickly draw it a bit differently. So going to be a cylinder, there's going to be a hollow part in the middle, and it's something like that. That is 21 centimeters long. The radius, so that radius from that middle point to there is 0.4, and then the radius of that hollow part, so just that, I should have drawn it a bit bigger, but just that red part is the 1, over 0.1 centimeter. And here now I ask, what is the volume in liters of steel in the pipe? Okay, so look at these answers. It just can't be. So if you look at a ruler that is 30 centimeters, and then it is nearly 0.4 centimeters, it's that thin. Oi. So let me quickly get so I'll quickly show you the formula, but so it's nearly that vat size. So there's no ways it's 9,000 liters. Okay, but how we would have done it if we worked it out is to work out what's your full pipe. So the full pipe is a circle, which is pi radius square times height. And then we will subtract the hollow part, again, pi radius square times height. So that would have been pi, the first radius would have been 0.4 to the power of 2 times the height of 21 centimeters. And then what we will subtract is the smaller part, 0.1 radius to the power of 2 times the height, which is 21. Okay, so this will give us our answer 0.4 to the power of 2 times 21 times pi. So this was 10.6 minus, yeah, I think they somewhere between the next question that was meters and this one, they got it wrong, and then just did not, or changed it at some point, but did not realize that it just is impossible to. So it would have been nearly 10.6 minus 0.66 if I'm looking at just that. So it's about 9, and now depending on how we rounded it off, 9.94. So depending on rounding off, it is between these two. So just depending on how we round it off, we might now get two different answers. So again, so it looks more to me like the 9.900, but yeah, this we would have now still, because it's centimeters, divided by 1,000. So it, and you can look at your pencil, it's not even probably 100 mils in it. So again, it's just not, and it was the same with one of the ones that was, I think, in the additional resources paper as well, that looks exactly the same. It's just the pencil on, and I think I've hidden it now. But yeah, so definitely not one of these. So like this one, I just wanted to show it to you guys so that when you look at the one in your the additional resources as well, just remember that it has a mistake in it, and you can't get to any of these answers. Okay, so let's look at this one, which actually does give us our answer, I hope. Determine the volume of a rectangular prism. And so prism, so let's draw it differently. So prism is basically a triangle that then has some height component to it. And there at the back, it will now run, but we can see the three sides. Okay, so determine the volume of a rectangular prism, length of 0.15 meters, the ref of I'm starting to worry, but that 1.2 liter can be it. So let's change everything to centimeters, because we know if we get centimeters to the power of 3, we can divide by 1,000. Otherwise, also, we can work with meters, but then we need to remember to put everything into meters. So let's do the meters. So 40 millimeters. So 40 divided by, wait, 40 divided by 1,000 will give me the, so let's see that breadth is 0.04, and the height is, if it's set over in meters, 20 centimeters. Well, that is 4 centimeters. Let me just quickly, 4 centimeters is 0.04 meters, 20 centimeters. Okay, so let's quickly see. Now I must just get my bearings. 40 millimeters. Let's just get my calculator right. So what is, that's not 40 millimeters. 40 millimeters is 4 centimeter, and 4 centimeter is 0, I want to say 0.004 is 4 millimeters. Can it be 0.4? This is not, see, I don't like working everything to meters. I rather, see, I'm now even confusing myself here. So I just want to move to centimeters. It's just, we can do it now in meters as well, but I just first need to quickly do it in centimeters. So 0.15 meters. 0.15 is 150 centimeters. 20 centimeters, and then we've got 40 millimeters, which is 4 centimeter. So a half times breadth times height for the small triangle times the longer height for the bigger triangle. Okay, so it is 0.04. I now doubted myself with that one. So a half times base times that height times the full height of 150 So 0.5 times 20 times 4 times 150. Times 20. Okay, why do I now get something different? Thank you. Okay, thank you. That makes a big... Oh, see, now I'm... Rectangular prism. Rectangular... of base times height. Okay, before I got from 40 millimeters. So 40 millimeters is 4 centimeter. And so let me just determine the volume of a rectangular prism. What is a prism? Is a prism not that, or is a prism a rectangular prism the whole thing? See, now I'm confusing everyone. Let me, I nearly in my head have prism as a triangle. I want to quickly Google that we just get, what is a rectangular? Okay, so I had it. Oh, it's for other one. You need to have a freaking course in higher English as well to do this, because I also now would have gotten to this, and then I am getting 6,000, which I would have had 6 liters. So I was nearly not getting any of these answers. Thank you for that. Rectangular prism. Sheesh. Okay, so thank you. I will add that. See, I was looking at the prism from totally... Okay, so that's apparently what it is. You can see English, definitely not my first language. Okay, so my whole... That was wrong. So formula, and actually nice that you have that where you can just put in the values. Share that, or is it the image, or is it that you can share the calculator for this on the group? I will just paste it into the presentation. Okay, so it is basically the one length times the height times the width. So let's look at now just getting it all into the same length. So if we want to use meter, our final answer will if we work it in meter, our final answer will give you liters. So then you don't need to change anything because our final answer is already in meters. So then it is what. So let's just quickly. So we don't need to divide by 1,000. We will do something else. So let's just quickly 0.15 times 0.04 times 0.2. So 0.15 times 0.04 times 0.2. So we get 0.0012. Now we don't need to divide by 1,000 like in centimeters. We multiply by 1,000 because it's already in meters. So then the answer will be 1.2 liters. If we had centimeters, let's just quickly check. Okay, I am just quickly. So guys, if you want to use this as a link to work out some of your questions, there is that link. So just if we've done it in centimeters, and let's just now get it right. So how much will 0.15 be? I get, and let's just check for me. I get that is 15 centimeters. So 15 times 20 times 4. So 15 times 20 times 4 centimeters is 1,200. And because it's centimeters, we would have divided by 1,000. So you will also get 1.2 liters. Okay. So sorry about that. We need to somewhere put this because yeah, by thinking it is a different type of flip, by just thinking about it as I did, totally different answer. There wasn't one of the answers because it basically, my answer was 0.6 liters, which was luckily not even there. Yeah, exam is just like all your assignments was multiple choice of all of your work. So exam is just as all your assignments was. Okay, so let's quickly duplicate this as well. So now we're going into slopes. Okay, so then we're going to do some, and I think this was also one of the questions last night. So we're going to just change the subject. Okay, so let's go into getting to a slope. So I think this one was nearly something that was also in your nearly in your quizzes or in your assessments, one of these. So the slope of a line joining 2 points is -2. Determine the value of A. Okay, so we know that the slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. So that is x1, y1, x2, y2. We can say that the slope, they tell us it's -2, is equal to, and let's first write it down, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 divided by x1. And so -2 is equal to y2, which is 0, minus y1, which is 4, divided by x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is what we need to work out for A. Okay, so to get rid of what is at the bottom, we will multiply at the top. So that disappears. So -2 times 3 minus A is equal to 0 minus 4, which is just -4. So -2 times 3 is -6. -2 times minus A is plus 2A. So -2 times minus A. Minus times a minus, what we did last night, is positive. 2 times A is 2A. That's equal to -4. So 2A is equal to, we take the 6 over, so 6 minus 4 is 2. So A is equal to 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same for this bottom one. So again, by asking us, they give us the slope, and then they say we need to find the value of A. So again, we can say the slope of half is equal to, let's just say, the y2 minus the so x1, y1, x2, y2. So that is equal to 3 minus 1 over 7 minus A. So now we're sitting with a half is equal to 3 minus 1 over 7. So if we multiply out on both sides, at the top we have 7 minus A over 2. So let's just remember to keep that half is equal to 3 minus 1 is 2 over 1. Then I will just multiply out with a 2. Okay, sorry, that's 2A. It's not 20, it's 2A, sorry. So 2A, so we just rewrite that. Okay, need to get rid of that 2, so on both sides going to multiply by 2 so that that can cancel out. So we basically then sit with 7 minus a is equal to 4. So if I take this over, we get minus a is equal to 7 goes to that sum. 4 minus 7 is minus 3. So minus a equal to minus 3. So that means that we want the value of a, which is equal to 3. Okay, so again, they also have a minus 3, but we're looking for a. They told us we need to work out the value for a. Okay, so both, and I think this was in one of your assignments, even maybe in the mock exam, it was also in there where you needed to work out the a, so that x1 you needed to work out. Okay, so this question 22, quite important just to look at it again, because I know it was in one of your assignments. Okay, subjects where they want you to change the subject of a formula. And once again, look nearly at the formula page that you guys have. A lot of these has to do with some of those formulas in some or other format. So some or other format, this formula page normally looks at. So this one you can nearly see is to do with pi radius square, so that is normally some area. This one, I don't think this one is there. Okay, so let's see what they say. Make a the subject of the formula. Okay, so first let's just write down what it was. Ut plus a half at to the power of 2. Okay, so we need to get to that a as a subject. So first thing, I will get rid of the ut. So on both sides, I will divide, or sorry, not divide, subtract ut. So now already it's nearly, that looks like some of those answers. So just subtract, and then we sit with a half at to the power of 2. To get rid of this half, if I multiply both sides out with 2, we get rid of that. So if I multiply both sides with 2, we get that. Okay, so already one can nearly see, okay, 2 SUT might be a cool one. SUT, there's not a 2. Okay, and then we want to make a, so all that we do, we divide both sides with t to the power of 2. So if we divide both sides with t to the power of 2, 2 in brackets s minus ut divided by t, because then on this side it would have cancelled out, so that is a is equal to that. Okay, I will do that. So let's quickly. Okay, so hopefully this hasn't disappeared now. Okay. Wait. Okay, we'll do that one just after. Okay, so let's look at another one. Here they say A is equal to that. We need to make H. So we need to make that H the subject of the formula. 2 pi radius to the power of 2 plus 2 pi radius H. Okay, so I need to isolate the H. So let's first take this part to the left-hand side. So subtract on both sides. So you can already see some of that might be not likely, also not, but so that is your first step. You need to get H isolated. So then I will basically divide that by 2 pi radius. So that would be then your H, because that is being divided. So you sit with A minus 2 pi radius square divided by 2 pi radius, which is option 1. Okay, I will share a presentation afterwards on the WhatsApp group as well. So I will share a presentation on the WhatsApp group so that you can get it there. I will also see if I don't know if I can add any. Don't seem like I can add any presentations to the chat, but I'm going to see. But I will add it onto the WhatsApp group. It's unfortunately it is just a lot of practice that yeah, it's one of those things. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, because one sees certain things in the questions that they ask for all the time. So that's nearly they've got a certain recipe that they ask the questions. So it becomes very, and you guys will see in the exam as well. It might be different numbers, it might be different, but the concepts, they can just ask the concepts as it is. So there was a few things in the assignments that sometimes made you think, like the Pythagoras and those kind of things, where suddenly um, it was like a small note somewhere, but the exam, it's normally very, very similar to what you have been seeing in your assignments and in the mock exam. So, okay, so let's determine the equation that goes through this straight line. Okay, so the first thing that we want to work out is the slope. So if we work out the slope, we will be able to say which one of these it might have already fallen away. And then with what we at that point have, we can put one of the other 2 points in it. And then we can work out the final line. So let's first work out the slope. So change in y over change in x. Again, x1, y1, x2, y2. So the change in y, so it's 6 minus 2 over the change in x, 3 minus 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. So slope is 4. Okay, so that slope is a quarter. Not interested. That slope is 4. That slope is minus 4. Not interested. That slope is 4. Okay, so if we needed to guess, you guess out of 2 options. But at the moment, our equation is looking like this. Y is equal to 4x plus c. Okay, so now we can put in any one of those 2 points into x and y. So let's put in point 2 and 2. So y is equal to 2. X is equal to 2. So 2 times 4 is 8 plus c. So need to take the 8 to the left-hand side. So it becomes minus 8. Minus 8 plus 2 equal to c. So we can put it back into that formula of y is equal to 4x minus 6. Okay, which is 4x minus 6, which is option 4. Okay, so when they give you 2 points and you need to work out what the formula is or the equation is, you basically work out the slope. Then I eliminated a few options already because of a slope, and then if you don't have one answer, put in any one of the 2 numbers or 2 points, and you will be able then to work out the final equation. Okay, so that is where you basically get the 2 points, and you need to, and they can ask you with those 2 points or to work out the slope or to work out the full straight line. Okay, so let's move that till the end, that we can get to some financial questions as well. Let's do this. So just this 2 questions is basically looking at a bit of theory, which again, I'm not always sure how much I want to put in or do or don't. But let's look at the first one. If you borrow money from the bank, the amount that you owe the bank is calculated, includes period and insurance and interest. So not insurance, period and interest. So the interest that you pay over a certain period, interest and penalty, so no. Okay, so weird question, but basically what you need to know about if you borrow money from a bank, how long you're borrowing it for, and against what interest rate you are borrowing. So that would have been a much simpler English question to to nearly ask is what's the two things that you need to nearly be aware of if you borrow money from a bank. It's how long you borrow it for and the interest that you borrow it against. Okay, the interest is calculated with this formula, so that is your simple interest formula. And what is P in that formula? Okay, so let's look at, okay, P is not period, definitely not penalty. P is normally the principal, so that is it. And it's not prime rate because your R would be interest rate and your T would be the period. Okay, so just a bit of theory if it comes up, that you're not caught totally off guard. But normally I think they don't do a lot of theory anymore because it is open book and things like that. So which of the following statement best defines an annuity? So an annuity is a series of equal or same amount payments at equal time intervals. Okay, that is correct. An annuity is a periodic payment made to a lender. Okay, no, it's not to a lender. An annuity is a sequence of equal or same amount payments. Okay, so what is the difference between annuities? A series of equal or same amount. An annuity is a sequence of equal or same amount payments at equal time intervals. Okay, so again, now definitely my English is up for the day. An annuity is an annual payment of money owed by a borrower to a lender, which is also not sure. Not 100% sure which one. Again, it's like really my English is done for something like this. Yeah, so let's see what annuity definition. Um, and it will probably not even be even that. Fixed payments made, say it's a sequence. Sequence series. Isn't a series a sequence? I'm like, I thought it was the same thing. So the one that has the best English grades can tell me which one I thought. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, so a sequence is a pattern. Okay, then it is the first one that I said is serious because, oof, yeah, guess between 1 and 3. So it's an equal payment that is being made per month or per time interval over a certain period. So serious sequence, whatever. This is ridiculous, actually. Okay, so study guide says sequence. Flippin' hell. Okay. page 126. Thanks for that. This is, so if you get it, so what I would do if I were you guys and still have some time, just mark a few definitions with sticky notes somewhere if you have it in a printed copy. If you using your study guide from a PDF and it's open on your computer, add notes to it, but you can get to it quickly, because I know this for me is really actually ridiculous how close those two are. And then nearly, if that is 1 or 2 marks that can give you to pass or not, or to get a good mark, it really is. So please, in your study guide, if you can, just put a few sticky notes on certain of these definitions if they ask it. I now tried Google, and Google didn't give me series or sequence. So again, when we get to the exam, it is just simpler to look at what the definitions is in your study guide. Okay, so yeah, don't worry about, I still not 100% sure why it is sequence and not series. Okay, so let's look at actually a question that we need to work out. So a value of a 1-bedroom flat in Tshwane increased from 151,300 to 230,592. I think we did something like this yesterday. Over a 5-year period, the average annual rate of increase of a bedroom flat over 5 years rounded to 2 decimals. I think we had something like this yesterday, so let's quickly just get, so you can use your, it wasn't yesterday, it was then over a weekend, but I'm sure there was something like that. Yeah. So there is, okay, so you can do it 2 ways. You can have it as this formula where you put in the end value, you put in the beginning value, and you say 1 divided by t, which in this case is 5. So let's write down this formula. So end value was 230,592.5. You divide it by the beginning value, 151,300. You power it to a power of 1 divided by t. So 1 divided by t is 1 divided by 5. And then you say minus 1. So that's for one way to do it. The other way is that we can also use to say, well, we've got a present value of 151,300. So this again is on my HP. We've got a future value of 230,592.5. We've got how many times per year is it being made? It's once for 5 years. and then we can get an interest rate. Okay, so you can use this formula, or you can use on your calculator the same, because they tell us you start off with 151,300. So that's your present value. Over 5 years, it has grown to 230,592.5. That's your future value. Then we know it is 1 time per year for 5 years, so it's 5 periods. And then if we work out our interest rate, we get 8.79%. And which, again, just how I want to trick you with the 8.97 and the 7.89. So you can see nearly they use all 3 numbers, and it's just to nearly trick you if you're quickly making the calculation. If we set 230,592.5 divided by 151,300, that would have been 1,5241. If we take that to a power of 1 over 5 minus 1, we will get exactly the same. Okay, we will get 0.879. Okay, so again, you can use both methods and it will give you the same answer. Okay, so we've done those two. So let me look at question 28. Suppose John deposited an amount of 600 at the end of every month into his account, earning 6% interest per year, compounded monthly over a period of 3 years. Determine the accumulated amount John will receive at the end of 3 years. Okay, so John deposit in amount at 600 Rand. So he does a monthly payment of 600 Rand. It is at the interest rate of 6%. It is monthly, so it is for 12 periods a year for 3 years. So that is 36 periods, just if you want to use the formula, and then determine the accumulated amount. So we want to get to future value. So 600 Rand PMT, 6% interest per year. Now it is 12 times a year because it is monthly for 3 years. So it is 36 periods. And then your future value is 23,601.66. Okay, which is option 4. Okay, so you could have also used the formula if you wanted to put that everything in. And let's quickly check where I think it was also in the previous one. I can't remember off my head what the formula is. And let's quickly check. I know we've done something like this in one of the previous sessions as well. Otherwise, I need to copy it of the. Okay, let me quickly open the formula sheet. That is going to be much easier. So because you also have a formula sheet, you really don't need to. Just please have a formula sheet with you when you guys are writing this. So he needs to work out his monthly payment. So let's just look at it. Future value. So let's just look, where's the future value when we get. So let me just quickly put it in snapshot. And so if you wanted to use the formula, and that is now here where it becomes important that you look at. So that will be your 600. Your I, you need to now say, in this instance, your I will be equal to the 6% divided by 12. So that is your I. It is the 6% divided by 12 because it is 12. And then your N there will be your period, which is your 36. So just be aware of that. Okay, so let's do, I think there was quickly look at that one, and I'm gonna just not cut, crop it, that we just, the last one will just be to solve the equation to finish it off. Okay, last two to quickly finish off. So let's look at what they say, and then we just see. Consider the figure below. The semicircle with M and diameter can fits perfectly into the rectangle as indicated on the sketch. Calculate the perimeter of the area consisting of part A and part B of a figure. Okay, so I assume if in my so semicircle, that's for one perimeter. And I would have said when that, oh, so is that, okay, so that's not part B. Again, my English is up for tonight, so I would have assumed what they want is this P's in ink. That is what I would have assumed by reading that. So what we need to work out is that perimeter again of a semicircle. So 2 pi radius divided by 2. So I hope you have an answer for this one. Pi and radius is 9 because it's half of the diameter. So in this instance, the 2 and the 2 would have cancelled out. So for that semicircle, it is pi times 9, which is 28.2, 28.27. So 28.27 plus 12 plus 14.8 plus 7.5 plus 12 again. I would have gotten 74.57. So that is 28.27 plus 12 plus 7.5 plus 14.8 plus 12 will give me this 74.57. That's how I would have calculated this one. Okay, so I would have said, okay, that's the perimeter of A. That is how it seems like the perimeter of B. So if I add those together, I get the 74.57. Okay, let's go for the last one. Solve the equation. So multiply in 2y plus 10 is equal to 3y minus 24. All the y's to the left, so 2y minus 3y will give me minus y, and all the numbers to the right, so minus 24 minus 10 gives me minus 34. So minus, so we can divide on both sides with minus. So final answer is y is equal to 34, which is option 3. Okay. So that is it, guys. I going to share the presentation. I'm stopping the recording, gonna share the recording. Will be put also online for you guys.